Here's one way of how to do some very fancy lettering. In order to do this lettering, you'll need to know how to write in cursive. But even if you don't know how to write in cursive, stick around. Maybe you'll learn some tips. Today I'm going to start with the word art. As always, I'm going to begin with my guidelines. Today I'm going to write my words straight across. So I'll have a bottom line and a top line for my letters. Since I'm going to be using lowercase letters, I'm going to need to add an extra line. Where these lines go are totally up to you, depending on how you want your letters to look. I'm going to very lightly write in cursive my word A R T and cross it on that line. Now I'm ready to start adding some details to make this look extra special and not just like handwriting. One of my favorite tips is to start thickening up my letters to make it look like I used a fancy brush or a calligraphy pen to create them. Learning where to put the thicknesses takes a little bit of practice and takes a lot of looking at other examples of writing and calligraphy to sort of get a feel for it. One good rule of thumb when you're just starting out is to try to keep all of your thicknesses in the same direction. In my picture, I have a lot of lines that are going at this angle. So I'm going to try to keep all of my thicknesses along that axis. I'll show you what I mean. To add thickness, this is a lot like block lettering, where you're just sort of outlining that letter. But usually with calligraphy, or fake calligraphy, I like to stay on the inside. But sometimes on the outside too. Really just have to kind of practice and see what works best for your letters. There. That's starting to look better already. I'm just going to go ahead and use my blue to start filling in those letters, those spaces that I just created. But if you want to use another color, you can certainly do that too. Now here's where the real fun begins. I'm going to start adding some swoops and loops to make this look extra fancy. Some loops that are nice to make are ones that sort of curve down and back around on themselves, like a little curly Q. It's also fun to make those same loops and have a little loop at the end and then curve it back around this way. You can also just do some big swoops. With maybe some smaller ones coming off the side. These swoops and curly cues are a great thing to practice whenever you have a chance to doodle. You never know what combinations of curly cues and loops and swirls you can come up with to make your art look extra special. So these were my practice down here. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my word and start adding these in. I know that I definitely want one on my T. I'm going to forget about that line that I drew first, and I'm going to go ahead and bring my swoop up and back around and loop like that. Whenever you have to cross a letter, that's a great opportunity to add a swoosh. I'm also going to add one to the top of my letter. Where they meet, where the lines meet for your letter is a great place to add some detail. I also like to add things at the end of my letters. Sometimes just underneath is kind of fun too. These can also be thickened up, and that takes a little bit of practice. I'm going to try to keep to that same rule of keeping everything on that angle. Because I chose to use the same color, I'm going to darken up my original sketch, just to really make my ideas pop. And that's a great way to get some very fancy looking lettering with just a few tips and tricks and easy steps. Thank you for watching.